Okay, my friends, extremely interesting today. We're going to be talking about the new Secretary of Health and his commitment to looking at the science that dictates what is actually happening in the human body. I have that science, and I'm going to present it right now. This right here is from Secretary Kennedy. Under Dr. Bhattacharya's leadership, the National Institute of Health will restore its commitment to gold standard science. We need hard science. That's what Kennedy said. I'm excited to work with Dr. Bhattacharya to ensure National Institute of Health research aligns with our administration priorities, especially tackling chronic disease epidemics and helping to make America healthy again. Autism, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, every chronic disease, irritable bowel syndrome, has a common link. Okay, this is from 2018, Meet Your Interstitium, a newfound organ in the human body. They never realized it was here. It's this fluid-filled network that runs through the entire body, from every organ, every muscle, every tendon, everywhere. It surrounds, even cells have this membrane surrounding them, which contains enzymes, bacteria, macrophages, viruses, all kinds of little creatures, really, that are in there that do chemistry to protect you. Okay, I study exceptionally preserved fossils, and they have this fascia layer in them, and nobody understood what it was. I approached everybody basically in the world. This goes back to 2015. And the only people that knew anything about it was Germany, the people in Germany, which were doing sports injuries. Other than that, everybody thought fascia was like a padding, just like a little fuzzy padding inside. Well, as I kept working with it, I realized, and this is 2015 I wrote this paper, it says, again, many experiments, there was totally unexpected results. Fascia is a tubular, fluid-filled fabric network. Instantly reconfigures itself if it's damaged or pulled apart. It covers every organ, everything in your body, and it has to cover it as a membrane or it becomes invaded. That's the source of chronic disease. Okay, so they published a paper about they call it Interstitium, which is this layer that I was talking about on my paper from 2015. Now this is 2018. They looked into it, and yes, sure enough, it does exist, and here it is. Now, they don't know anything about it other than that it's a newfound organ. It's there. What does it do? What lives there? Why is it there? What's its purpose? What's its function? Does it have anything to do with your health? Well, yes, all of those things. Okay, the new biggest organ in the human body is right there, basically. Below that is the membrane. That layer right there is the interstitium, they call it, and it's the fluid-filled highway. Well, how does cancer work? These are cancer cells growing through a normal tissue. This is normal tissue. And you see how all of these cells abut against each other? They're tight. They call it tight junctions. And there's several different adheron junctions and tight junctions and desmonas and all that stuff to keep these cells glued together. They can do all this kind of stuff and move this and do that, but they cannot come apart. If they come apart, then these guys come in. What happens when they come in? The junction's not tight enough. They start to work their way in, and they keep growing and growing and growing and spreading, and finally they hit this layer, stage 4 cancer, and then it lives inside, growing on your vital flesh. Out here, there's really nothing for it to eat, to speak. But if it can get down in here with its little tentacles, then you're in trouble. Now, I've been studying this for a very long time related to this specific layer, and here's how it works. Early stage cancer, you get a small invasive mass or a tumor. It's just on the surface. It's not spread anywhere. It's localized. Now, then you get localized cancer starting to affect nearby tissue. In other words, it's infected. It's inflamed. It's not being taken care of. Then you get regional spread, which spreads around in the area, in that particular area, because it's just moving outwards. All right, the mass may have grown in size. The spread to distant lymph nodes away from the mass, which is in the lymph nodes are what's supposed to clean up the junk. Well, you can't clean up the junk. So the lymph nodes are not capable of dealing with that, so the lymph nodes become infected. Then the lymph nodes in this particular area are infected because they don't have the right bacteria, and then in other areas they're going to be infected too because they don't have the bacteria there either. If you don't have the bacteria in that fluid-filled highway, it's not going to be here, it's not going to be there. If you've got it here, you're going to have it there. That's why the fluid-filled highway is so important. So let's try to put this thing together. We know we've got invasion. It starts up here with a 1 is just nibbling away, and then 2 is where it goes a little further, 3 is where it's really starting to spread out, and 4 is where it punctures through the membrane down into the good stuff down in here. Up here is not, that's where you get these skin conditions. You know, they're not life-threatening, basically. Once you get down through the fluid-filled highway and then through the membrane and then out into your vital flesh, then you're in trouble. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a blob growing on there, which is called a tumor. And that tumor is going to put its little feelers down through the open gaps in the junctions that are supposed to be sealed. And it'll wiggle its way down through here, one of these, and it'll get inside and it starts sucking up all your juice, and then you're done. And if you can't kill that thing, it's all over. So what do? They try to shoot it with radiation. They try to find the areas that are being invaded, and they invade them with X-rays and, you know, gamma rays or whatever they do, or toxins to kill them. Well, I don't care what you do there, because that particular spot is the same as everywhere else in your body. Sooner or later, somewhere else is going to poke through if you don't have the bacteria and the enzymes in this layer right below this to kill that thing. If it comes down, it says, no, clip, 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 clip. It just kills all the things coming down. Finally, they go away because they can't get through. But once they get through, it's all over. And if it gets through here, it's going to get through somewhere else because you don't have the chemistry here, and you won't have the chemistry over there because they are living in that fluid-filled highway. The fluid-filled highway drives over to here, kills that one. Drives back here, kills this one. If you don't have anything driving, well, this one grows, that one grows, and you die. Typically, this is how they explain cancer. This is a colon. So this is your digestive system, and the stuff that you eat is very toxic and noxious, and your digestive system has a ton of bacteria and different stuff in there that actually kills and destroys with nucleophilic invasion. These things that are coming through here, and it kills them and destroys them and breaks them into pieces. However, if you don't have the bacteria and the enzymes in here to do that chemistry, they'll start growing on the wall here because it'll say, hey, I want to eat some of this stuff. And it says, no, you can't because I have bacteria and enzymes here that will kill you. And you're fine, and it just goes and you poop it out. Well, if there's no bacteria here, no enzymes, that little thing here, that little blue guy grabs a hold and he starts growing here. And eventually he'll perforate the wall, and you have a perforated colon, a bowel, or whatever it is. But they say, oh, well, this thing here is moving to here and here. No, it's not. There's the same bacteria is growing where it's not being opposed either. There's nobody stopping it. It grow all over, everywhere. You can here, everywhere. So, and eventually these will perforate too, and your colon will just literally fall apart. Now, every organ and every type of cell and type of tissue has its own type of membrane, and those membranes have their own specific ribosomes, which are catalyst enzymes that protect that layer from invasion. So, and there is about 200 types of cancers. Why so many types of cancers? Why isn't there only one? There's 200 because there's hundreds of different types of tissue, from cells to blood cells to kidneys to lungs to hearts to every single body part in your body is coated by a specific type of membrane. And especially when we get down into the neurodegenerative diseases, because there is literally thousands of different well, I don't know if that's thousands, but there's many different types of nerve cells that control actual motion, they control emotions, they control feelings and touch and heat and light and sensitivity and vision and hearing. All of those are different types of tissues and membranes, and they all have their own type of cancer. All right, this is from my paper again, 2015. I've been studying this a long time. I know this system extremely well as anybody in the world. Fascia protects every bit of you from invasion. This is 2015, this is 10 years ago, including a complete fabric bag, which is your skin. Your skin is not just one fabric either. You have tough skin to fine skin. On your hands and feet, you have what they call grip skin. In your face and so forth, you have a very, very thin, fine skin. And they break down into kaolin clays are the fine skins, and the heavier skins are bentonite clays and so forth. Now, all fascia is made of collagens and keragens. That's the fabric creating the fiber, and the elastins, elastic bags that go around these things. In a sheet, it wraps everything individually and then comes together as one giant system. There's over 20 different types of collagens and keragens. Some protect from acids, others from caustics, others mineralize for strength, and the variety is amazing. There's a lot of silicon in these. But there's 20 different types of collagens and keragens, and they have to be there to protect that membrane so that you don't get invaded. If it's not there, you're invaded. And what creates those things? Bacteria. All right, this is shortly after they discovered this particular layer. This is Gokal, who's with UC Berkeley, and the name of this is Your Textbooks Are Wrong. This is what cells actually look like. He's actually seeing the fluid-filled highway and the bacteria and enzymes that exist in them, and it freaked him out, and I don't blame him. When he saw it, he's the first one to ever have seen this.
Still remember the moment. It's something that I will never forget. The hair on my hands just stood up. It's a microscopic universe within each cell.
Within each cell.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world, where we can actually see immune cells scooping up sugars in the ear of a zebrafish in real time.
Did you just see what happened? Let's go back there and look at it carefully. They're in the fluid. This is the fluid-filled highway right here. This is the layer underneath, which is the membrane, really. Now let's take a look at it, what it actually looks like in that discovery that they showed in 2018. Now this goes back, 5 years ago or so. So this was from around 2020. Okay, don't forget, here's what he's looking at right now. Gokal is checking this layer right here, the fluid-filled highway, which sits directly above the membrane, which has all of those creatures living in there and all the ribosomes. And when they need to do something, they squirt them out into the highway and they take over and they go out to affect whatever's trying to invade you. All right, so if you got down close enough and looked at this, you would see there'd be cells. And they're individual cells. You can see the little dots in them, and they're going to be all over the top of this thing. If you can break through all those cells all the way down and get through this layer into the vital flesh, you're in trouble. That's what's called stage 4 cancer. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. All right, so these are the cells you're looking at right above here, which are right over the top of the fluid-filled highway. And these are the entrances to the fluid-filled highway. And this is the layer of interstitium where it grows all the bacteria and enzymes and catalysts. And then they squirt them out of here as ribosomes primarily. All right, you just saw what it looks like. You got your skin coming down to here, and then you have your cells meet up with the interstitial layer, which is this fluid-filled highway. And in this fluid-filled highway, these creatures that live in here, creating ribosomes, squirt them out into there, and almost instantly they go to where they're needed. The amount of blood and fluids flowing through your body, which this is not blood, but the amount of fluids that flow through your body is absolutely stunning. Your body, just your heart, processes gallons of blood per minute. Gallons flowing through you per minute. Just think of how fast, and this does probably about the same speed, only maybe faster, because there's 4 times more fluid in the interstitium than there is in blood. There's 4 times more of this, and it's just so you squirt a few of these things in there, a couple seconds later they're where they have to go. That's how fast this stuff works. All right, I have the sound turned off because I have this going extremely slow. Now, Gokul says the hair on his hands just stood up. Oh! It's a microscopic universe within each cell. Unprecedented visions, and they've never seen this before. Now, I'm going to explain to you what he's saying and point them out and stop here and there. All right, so this is all this stuff going on. You see all these little fluid-filled compartments here? Now watch what happens in here. We're going to see bacteria come in. All right, here we go. This is a bacteria, I believe, a large-sized bacteria, and it's harvesting these little, I believe they're ribosomes. They're little chemistry sets. And it's gobbling up a whole bunch of them, and it's going to squirt them out into the fluid-filled highway. All right, so this is a cellular world where we can actually see immune cells. That was an immune cell scooping up sugars. He says sugars. I say they're ribosomes, which could be sugars. I don't know. But see them? They're going around and grabbing them up. They're squirting through all these little areas, and he grabbed a whole bunch of them. Watch where he goes. Zip, right out into the fluid-filled highway. That's where they grab all that stuff out of it, and he's going to attack something that is attacking this creature. All right, so here's Gokul again. He's saying they noticed 2 classes of bacteria, and here's what they do. One of them, he says, isn't hungry at all. That's this one here. Now, what this one is doing, here's what it looks like as it grows, as it's showing, searching around. What that is, and I will show you precisely what it is. That, my friends, is basically this. All right, you see how that big long thing in all these different colors? Basically, it's like this. It's a polypeptide chain. And it goes around, and it has magnetic signatures all over this place. It's so extremely unbelievably elegant, it's incredible. And if it finds another one that matches just right, it says, whoop, that guy we got to go kill. And then it reports back. Listen to this. It says there's 2 classes. One was not hungry at all. This one didn't eat anything. It's a sniffer. It was very active though. Very active, but not hungry. And it's going around here sniffing around. You see it? And then when it finds something out in this layer that's not supposed to be here, it goes running back into the other layer and tells these guys, hey, we got an intruder. Go grab some of that blue stuff and get out there and kill the guy. So it comes back, and he says it's got a lot of food in its belly. That's not food. That's drugs. This thing is a drug dealer. And he just ran around and grabbed a bunch of drugs, and he's going out to deliver them. All right, so here's my recommendation. We need a database to know what is the bacteria that should be here in a healthy person versus the bacteria that's here in an unhealthy person. Simple as that. And how do we get that? There's a couple possibilities. We could actually take fluid samples, I would think, from its interstitium layer and analyze that fluid. But better than that, I think, or in addition to that at least, would be a bacterial swab, because almost all the bacteria is in your gut, and that is what breaks down the food. It kills the invaders. It does all of that stuff in your gut. Once it gets past the gut, you're in trouble. That's what this shows right here. Once they break through that wall, you got problems. And if you don't have the right bacteria just living in here, just living forever, they just live and live and live, and they have a great time. They eat everything you send down to them. They call that prebiotics, and they are bacteria that live in here, and they eat some good stuff. You got to give them something to eat, and then they live in that stuff, and then they protect you. So you need what they call prebiotics, and then you need probiotics, and the probiotics are the little microbes that live in there that do your bidding. They go and they kill your invaders, and they break down your food, and they live right in here. So you need a fecal matter swab. And all you have to do is analyze it and say, what is living in there? Do we have any lactobacillus reuteri? Do we have any lactobacillus acidophilus? Do we have any, all of those different bacteria? And there's 75,000 at least they know of enzymes, and every enzyme comes from a bacteria. So you've got zillions of bacteria. We don't know what it is. We have no idea. None, zero. We know a few strains, that's about it, but they have no idea even how they work. These bacteria work on half-lives. They are so elegant, the enzymes that they make, they break down chemistry up to billions of times in 1 second, what would take years to do if you did not have that enzyme. Billions of times in 1 second, and that same process would take billions of years. Literally billions of years. Here it is right here. Enzymes dramatically accelerate chemical reactions. Typically, they can accelerate it by factors ranging from millions to trillions of times faster than it would actually happen. Without them, you will die almost instantly. You see this? Without enzymes, the body's critical biological process, which slow down dramatically, you die within a few minutes. Okay, so we're talking about a new guy at the National Institute of Health. Well, he should be examining this. Does glyphosate affect the human microbiota? Yes. Low-dose glyphosate exposure alters gut microbacteria? Yes. Is the use of glyphosate in modern agriculture resulting in damage? Yes. Discussion forums, they know this. This goes back to 2020, the use of glyphosate affecting the gut. That's 5 years ago. Adverse impacts of Roundup on the soil. It's killing the bacteria in the soil. It kills the bacteria in our bodies. It's leading to these cancerous results, in my opinion. And this is what Trump has tasked Kennedy to do, is to look into this. And the new guy is the National Institute of Health. I want some answers. I want somebody to talk to me. And you can't get through to any of these people, as I'll show you. I have not had one single response from anybody about anything. Okay, so this is our new director, and this is the labs at National Institute of Health. All I'm asking for is a database, a very simple, quick database of fecal swabs, starting with children at birth and coming up, and follow them as they go along and find out what bacteria are in them and what bacteria are harmed by certain live viruses like the MMR and so forth. Now, this is what I want. This is RFK Jr. Please contact me. This guy here, Jay Barenia, please contact me. I have information. I have just shown you that I've been working on this for years and years, and I have results that were very positive over in Northern Ireland working with autistic people. And total change around just using the probiotics and a couple other little chemicals that are in the area here where you have the phospholipid membranes, the phosphorus. You need that phospholipid membrane to have tight junctions, otherwise you're going to be invaded. They call that, predisposition to getting diseases. Oh yeah, the guy just catches everything. Well, he's got loose junctions. More than likely, they could just work their way in. They got these little tentacles. If they get in there, dig around and get through, you're in trouble. And the only way to get through there is if you don't have the tight junctions, because you don't have the chemistry, or you don't have the troops, which are the bacterial enzymes in there, the ribosomes, to kill these things when they come through. All the mechanisms there, the genes are there, everything's there. If you don't have the chemistry, it's not going to happen. All right, I'm going to leave it at this, but autism, all your neurological diseases are a result of a problem with synapses, basically, the nerve signals. Now, why would you have those problems? The synapses can be either electrical or chemical. they're both electrical in nature, but chemical means to break something down to get an electric response. Electrical means just it's an electrical discharge, but chemical creates an electrical discharge eventually. Now, most synapses in the nervous system are chemical. You need the chemistry, and the only way you get the chemistry is from the enzyme. And that only comes from a bacteria. So most synapses in the nervous system are chemical, using neurotransmitters to transmit signals. That's why you do get this, something's going wrong. Or electrical synapses are less common and involve direct electrical communication between cells via gap junctions. Everything's a junction between cells. Here's a more detailed explanation. Well, I don't think there's any reason to go through this. The neurotransmitter, well, I might as well do it. Mechanism. Neurotransmitters are released from the presynaptic neuron. That's a nerve cell. They diffuse across a synaptic cleft, so there's a distance there. And they bind to a receptor on the other side, the postsynaptic neuron, causing a change in the postsynaptic neuron's electrical or chemical state. Speed. These are slower than electrical synapses. It's almost like dominoes falling down the line. Slower than electrical synapses due to the time it takes for neurotransmitters to release and diffuse. It click, 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 click. Only it's not fast, but it's still very slow in comparison to the speed of electricity. Now, highly plastic, meaning they can strengthen and weaken over time with repeated stimulation. That I don't know about. Electrical synapses. Now you got mechanism. The ions, which are molecules that don't have enough electrons, or they have too many. That's what an ion is. It's just a molecule that's not stable. They flow directly from the presynaptic neuron to the postsynaptic neuron through these channel proteins. Speed, very fast, as electrical signal travels directly across the gap. Plasticity, they're less plastic, and you can damage them. Directionality can go both directions. There's not much more to speak about. The most important thing is these are electrical signals, chemical or electric. It doesn't matter. They both originate with an enzyme. You don't have the enzyme, none of that stuff is going to happen. And when these kids are really little and they're very young, they have no digestive system, so they have none of these chemicals. These chemicals start to grow in you as you get exposed to things. But if you don't have the right chemistry in you, when you get that MMR shot or any of these live vaccines, you can't respond. Your body's going to be attacked. That's when they get sick. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to speak to these people. I have something to offer here. I can't get through to anybody. I show you. I tried calling them, and all I got was ring, 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 buzz, buzz, buzz. Nothing. I can't get through to anybody. I have tried over and over to all of these people that are talking about, oh, just get a hold of this one. Oh, just get a hold of this one. We want to hear from you. No, they don't. I have had no communication whatsoever, none, and I have been the loudest voice on the internet. All right, hopefully you understand, membranes are your immune system. They protect you. It's like a rubber glove around your hand. It's a membrane. You penetrate that membrane, you're in trouble. Gut bacteria is the thing that keeps that membrane working. Parkinson's linked to gut bacteria suggests unexpected simple treatment. Replace the bad bacteria. Literally 100% of chronic issues I have looked into can be treated with a fecal matter transplant. And it's non-invasive, it's not dangerous, it's not harmful. They found it very safe and effective. And the only thing they let you have it for is Clostridium difficile, which they almost can't treat any other way. Once you are destroyed with your antibiotics in your body and they kill all the good biotics, there's nothing you can do. You have to replace all of the good biotics. You know, if your body can fight back, well, you can get away by taking antibiotics and you'll recover, but it'll take a while. Fecal matter transplant, within like 48 hours, you're back up and running. Okay, I just dialed this number. Let's see what happens. This is supposed to be the National Institute of Health. I've tried to contact everybody hundreds of times. I get so frustrated that I finally gave up. And I'm sure this is going to be the same case now, but we'll see. A lot of ringing. A lot of ringing. Just contact us. Just contact us. Get a hold of us. Connect with us. Talk to us. Give us feedback. We're here to help you. Same story every time.